Overseas, a fierce battle broke out today on the fringe of the former Soviet Union. Tonight, Secretary of State Rice is calling on Russia to end its assault on the Republic of Georgia, now a U.S. ally. The fighting is in Georgia's province of South Ossetia, home to many Russians who are still loyal to the Kremlin and want to break away from Georgia. Richard Roth has the latest.
Seven years ago today, Georgia attacked its then breakaway Republic of South Ossetia with the aim of bringing it back under Tbilisi's control. Over the night, heavy artillery pounded the capital, also targeting Russian peacekeepers in the area. Hundreds of civilians and more than 70 peacekeepers were killed in the following days.
Fighting, claims and counterclaims, and civilians paying a heavy price. Day 3 of the widening conflict in the Caucasus. Georgia says it's withdrawn its troops from the capital of disputed South Ossetia.
And pull them out.
Georgia's security minister says the move shouldn't be seen as a military defeat. He says it was taken to protect civilians, bearing the brunt of fierce air and ground attacks, some 2,000 dead, as many wounded, and more than 30,000 streaming towards the Russian border. There are reports that both sides have now agreed to create 2 humanitarian corridors to get the wounded and the displaced out of the enclave. Russia, meantime, is pouring more troops and heavy armor into the Russian-backed region, and there have been more airstrikes. Bombs were dropped on this military airfield outside the Georgian capital Tbilisi, site of a factory producing fighter jets. Georgia says Russia has ignored a ceasefire offer it made on Saturday and is instead massing troops in the breakaway province of Abkhazia and warships on the Black Sea. The Georgian president.
We must stop this madness. We propose to Russia an immediate ceasefire and a start of talks. I'm appealing to President Medvedev to stop this madness. It's not in the interest of Georgia or of Russia.
Echoes of the Cold War as international appeals to both sides to stop fighting and start talking go unheeded.
Well, as war broke out in August 2008, it wasn't Georgia that was initially branded the aggressor.
Russian troops have moved beyond the zone of conflict, attacked the Georgian town of Gori, and are threatening the Georgia's capital of Tbilisi.
We are a small country, but we are attacked because we wanted to be free. We are attacked because we wanted to build genuine democracy.
Georgia's president says Russia is attacking his country.
Russia's aggression is far from over.
Russian aggression must not go unanswered.
Well, an EU-commissioned report into the war clarified the picture, concluding that the conflict was started by Georgia's attack. The document added that there was no ongoing Russian build-up or assault at the time, but it also slammed Moscow for going beyond the reasonable limit of defence after responding to the first attack. Well, the report came a year after the war. However, European observers on the ground pinpointed the aggressor from the start.
On the day before the fighting, if you like, before the shelling, I was the acting head of mission in Tbilisi for the OSCE. We were very, very worried about the situation, that's a fact. There was clearly a Georgian military build-up south of Sin Valley on the 7th. To my mind, and it's purely my own opinion, it was a ridiculous move on the part of the Georgian authorities to engage in a military adventure in South Ossetia.
Well, 7 years on, Georgia's responsibility for the conflict is agreed upon internationally, but during the war, misinformation was widespread.
2 Russian jet planes came very low on a marketplace, a very busy marketplace in a small town in the middle of Georgia, and deliberately dropped 500 kilograms bombs on civilian population.
It's intensifying and becoming more brutal. The war between Russia and Georgia spills out of South Ossetia. Tens of thousands have been forced from their homes. Despite another Georgian offer of a ceasefire and intensive diplomatic efforts, there's no sign either side is really ready to stop the fighting. I'm Shihab Ratansi. You're watching Al Jazeera live from Washington. Also on the program, tension in Tbilisi as the fighting spreads. People in Georgia's capital fear Russian troops could surround the city.
Russia signed a treaty with Georgia's breakaway South Ossetia region on Wednesday, which Tbilisi condemned as a move towards annexation and the West says could threaten regional stability and security. The Framework Alliance and Integration Treaty was signed by Russian President Vladimir Putin and South Ossetian leader Leonid Tibilov. It outlines plans to integrate Russia's security forces, military, and customs services with South Ossetia's. Russia will also protect the tiny region's border under the treaty. That treaty recognizes South Ossetia as an independent state after a 5-day war with Georgia in 2008, but most countries say it is still part of Georgia.